Hello. Yeah. Hi. Good evening to you all. I'm audible to you all.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can we start the session because already 7 minutes we have it. Okay. So it is requested to you all that kindly join the session on time. Because every day I need to remind you that's not a good thing. Session time is 4 o'clock and link will be same that we have shared with you as well as it's also mentioned in the group description. So you can join by using that link. Link will not be changed until unless we will not update you. Okay. So class timing is 4 o'clock. Kindly join the session start at 4. Now let's start the session. Uh, In yesterday session, we have covered few things about the data, about the database model, and types of database model that we are using in real time, and characteristics of few data models as well as databases and their different approaches that we are using, asset properties of relation database. Okay. So any question, any query till here, if you have, you can ask me. Otherwise, we will proceed for the session. Any query you have till here by anyone,
No,
please?
sir.
No, sir.
Okay. So now, because relational database basically followed the asset property. Now, asset property, why it is required? Suppose this is the bank. Okay. In that bank, you are a user, and you have your account in that bank. Okay. And again, this is user number 2, this is user number 1. Both user have their account into bank. So what they want? They want actually user 1 want to get some amount from their account, and user 2 want to deposit some amount into their account. So you can see that user are there, but both user have different operations, have to perform on database. So what happen? Bank, what will bank do? Firstly, bank will get the request form. It may be debit form, it may be credit form. Okay, like it's known as withdrawal form. So after filling the form, he will submit on the bank counter. And after that, he will check whether sufficient amount is available in case of debit. Suppose user one want 2000 rupees from their account. So how this can be possible? It is possible if he have sufficient money into their account. Okay, so how bank will check? Bank will check from their database. Okay, so at that point, amount is available. Suppose total amount available in his account is 3000. Now, after deduction of 2000, how much balance will remain? It will remain 1000. So what atomicity enforces that when user have performing here debit operation, 2000 rupees has been debit from their account, then now final remaining balance is 1000 in his account. So that process should be completed in a particular cycle, and consistency of the database should not be affected in terms of when concurrent users are performing different operation at same time, because same time you can see that user 2 is basically here depositing money. Suppose he is depositing 1000 rupees in his account. Now you can say that see that at same time one person is getting amount or taking amount from the bank, and second user is basically depositing amount into his account. So at that time, consistency will not be affected whether which kinds of operations or whether different kinds of operations is performed by the concurrent user at same time. Isolation, isolation means it will enforces that on the database until unless operation is not completed, permanent or we can say that final change will not be made until unless operation is not completely executed or successfully executed. Okay, after acknowledge or after confirmation of the operations, if it is success, then change will be made into database. Otherwise, no change will be made into database. Durability means when your process is started, then there is a amount of time or amount of timelines has been defined. Into that timeline, if payment did not, or we can say that operation did not completed, then automatically it will decline the operations and operations will be aborted in without any intimation. Okay, sometimes what happens when you make payment through UPI and in a particular amount of time, payment did not completed successfully, then automatically your payment goes to the cancellation state. So this is the basic things that followed by the relations database in terms of ACID properties. SQL structure query language. Basically, it's the example of relation database. Okay, and this is the language or tool that we are using in real time to create the database in structured form. Okay, many more also available. Like yesterday, I have discussed with you Oracle SQL. Okay, so SQL basically is a query based language, structured query language, whose data model is basically defined. Okay, now what is the meaning of structured query? Structured query, basically this language follow the some data models. According to that data models, you can store, you can manipulate, you can access or retrieve your database that is stored into relational model. Okay, SQL basically is standard language that is used to create a relational database system. By using SQL, we can perform different kinds of operation. We can insert new record. We can retrieve any data if we have created earlier or in historical time. We can update record like you can see that we have Aadhaar card in real time. Suppose name of a student is entered wrongly into their Aadhaar card, date of birth entered wrongly into their Aadhaar card. So you can request to make the change, right? You can delete a record also from a database. You can create. So all these things can be performed by this tool. Yeah, under this tool, the data and can be used as per requirement of industry or organization. Let's see an example that how structure model is is taking how structure model or relation model is working. You can see that I have this picture in front of you. My screen is visible to you all.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can see that in this screen, I have two pictures. Can anyone tell me what is the basic aim of this picture? Can anyone conclude or anyone give me a predictions about these two pictures? What these two pictures represent?
Sir, one of them is structurized and one of them is unstructurized.
Yes, structurized, that means the students who are basically in the uniform, okay, it shows that they are following a model. Model is what school have defined the uniform status that students have to wear black shoes, students have to wear a pant of similar colors, students have to wear a jersey or have to wear a tie as well. So what it means a similar protocols have been defined. Under that protocol, every students have to prepare, have to adopt same terminology and have to study in the course. Same thing now in a different pictures. This is also a pictures that may be related to a school or maybe some any other place. But in this picture, you can see even they are following dressing sense. But in both pictures, you can see that first picture is too much impressive rather than the second. Why? Because they are even trying to following the model or trying to following the schema. but they are not capable due to their resources or due to might be their strict schema or due to their logical model. So when we think in real time, so here database models basically provide approach that how that data will be organized under the some circumstances, under the some relations, and how data will be arranged in a logical structures and how that data will be represented. Now you can see that these two pictures are representing something. First is representing here about the students, but they are looking very impressive. But in second picture, we have many students, more than we can that in a comparison of first picture, we have more students, but they are not looking very impressive. Why? Because they did not follow any data model. Okay, so that's the thing that that when we are using any terminology that should be effective and more impressive in an industry manner. Okay. By how we can create a table under RDBMS. So to create a table, we need to define the simply schema. This is the schema about the table that will explain or that will show that how table will be created. To create a table, we need to use create keyword, name of table, table keyword, name of table, and their attributes. You can see that here I have taken P name, its product name. So it's a attributes first. And data type. What kinds of data it will hold? Varchar. It's a basic data structure that have defined to that which kinds of data that attributes can contains. Okay. So we can also insert any record in a table by using the insert keyword like that. Insert it to product name, and values. What kinds of values we have defined? Like you can see that for product name, we have defined character type. So combinations of character basically is known as string. So it can be imported. Second one is float. So price, you can see that we have imported in float form. Category, again, it's in character form. So again, it's entered into character form. So this is the basic things that we are using under a relation data model. Okay. So when we input any record, so every time it will ensure that whether the product name, what kinds of product name we have, their data type is varchar. So every time he will accept the character type data. Price is in form of float. So it will consider whether it may be integer or whether it may be float. If it is we are putting in integer form, then it will use the zero after point. So these are the basic models that we are using in real time. Now extract data from a table. A big concern is there that if data has been created, how we will extract data from that table. So suppose I have a table, and this table you can see that have four attributes: product name, price, category, and manufacturer. This is the product table. What we want to extract from this table? We want to extract product name and price. Suppose I want purchase some product, okay, but firstly I need to check whether this product can be in my range or not. So just product name and price I have selected from there. When you execute that query, you will get that output. So now you can see that two column has been extracted from that table. So relation data models also provide you the flexibility to extract the relevant data from a large data tables or from a data pool so that you can use it in for the real-time analysis as per your requirement. Next one is the NoSQL database. Now, what the meaning of NoSQL? Non-SQL?
Not
Any
only
idea?
SQL.
Yeah, it's a full form of that data, but what's the meaning of NoSQL data?
No structure, not a
Yes,
particular structure.
yes. Basically, the data that did not have any data model. Like that, I have given an example about the college. Okay. Okay. About the college students. In two pictures, students are there. In one picture, they are following the models, and in another picture, they did not following any model. So same thing is that basically NoSQL database is the key concept that is important in today time, because as the inventions of smart applications, non-structured data has been increased. Okay, because there are number of applications generated data in real time in not a structured form. So at that time, we we need we need to take the things, and we need to control the things so that that data can be processed, that data can be managed, and that data can be stored. Okay, so because structured data can be processed by using the traditional software. So now how that data will be processed? So for processing, managing, and controlling the NoSQL data, we have different technologies, like we are using Hadoop also. Okay, Hadoop has the H-based tools to processing the NoSQL data, as well as uh, MongoDB also. Okay, so NoSQL data model basically is available with different tools, and it's also maintains data in different form, like in graph form, like in wide column form, like Google Big Tables, like document oriented model or database, like a PDF files, doc files, JPG files. Okay, so these all kinds of data basically generated in form of NoSQL, because they did not have any specific data model. Just a structure has been given there or defined there. Into that structures, data has been stored, and if you require any search from that data, then you need to visit line by line. Okay, so we can say that you need to search in sequential manner. So that's the reason we are talking about the Hadoop framework. Okay, Hadoop framework will provide you the capability to process and maintain the NoSQL data. Okay, for in more detail, we will discuss later, because our course will be related to mostly with the semi structure NoSQL data. So we will discuss it in later part. You can see that it's a key value based data, like city has been assigned with a particular key, and value is the New York. State, New York, and country, USA. So if you are storing any kinds of data, then by using their specific key, you can store. Same things also there. It's another table. Okay. This is also known structured database. Different file formats are given there. Okay, MP4 data also is also known as in non-structured data, and it's also a statics or graphs. So graph also represent statics or any sales, any target achieved by any company, any target achieved by employee. Okay, so all four structures are basically showing a data here, but in different manner. Okay, if we have data in that form, it's very easy. You can fetch, you can search, because their data is in table form. But if we have data in graph form, then how you will process that data? Because now that data basically comes in a no structured form. Okay, so to process this kinds of data, we will use different tools under Hadoop framework. Okay, advantage of NoSQL data. There's a big advantage because no need to define a specific data model, and data can be stored in with various different kinds of data structures or with different kinds of paradigms. Scalability, it can be extended easily. Why? Because just what we will do, just we need to add columns families in that data. Economical to use, because we did not require any license or any servers. Okay, and no high cost of maintenance. So it's also very economic to use. Why? Because a simple structures will be there and we will use in frequently manner like in PDF file, like in JPG file. Okay. So this kinds of database also have a slightly advantage, but also have many disadvantages. Okay, disadvantages comes basically when we have data in large size. Okay. Now disadvantages of NoSQL database. Disadvantages why? First disadvantage is that like structured data, we cannot perform the random search. Random search, that means suppose we want get a specific sales data. Then if that data is in form of tabular form, that it can be possible. But because that data basically did not have a traditional model, so it is not possible. Lack of analytics. It did not have any analytics features because you need to process that data line by line. So analytics also not possible, and lack of consistency because data basically coming from various sources. Different applications is generating data in NoSQL form. So we did not have a common schema or common rules so that they can ensure that what contents we are inputting or what data we are inputting under that files that can be rechecked. So these kinds of things that when comes under this model, then it make a issue or it make a challenge to the real-time users that how consistency will be maintained. Suppose we have an example. You can see that suppose this is these are the three students. Okay, all three students basically are studying in BTech class. Okay. Now all three students are appearing in the exam and all three students exam basically on paper. Okay. Or in the answer sheet. They are basically answering on to their answer sheet. Now you can see that pattern of basically writing pattern of student 1, writing pattern of student 2 and writing pattern of student 3. Or three students may be similar or may be different. But if two students writing pattern is have different, then what it reflect? That means they can generate its own data as per their convenience because there is no specific data model has been defined. So it is very important that if they are appearing in online mode, then you can see that for all time will be same, question pattern will be similar, and all the things that they will use that will be common for all. Okay. So and in terms of NoSQL data, it's make a problems or it make a challenge for the users when we are working in a group and we need to follow a similar terminology. Okay. Any query about NoSQL by anyone, please? Any query by anyone?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, next is the cloud database. This is also a new, we can say that inventions in the information technology domain. Okay. And cloud database is required. Can anyone tell me why cloud database is required?
For
What
remote
is
access.
for only remote access
Sir, for storage purpose also.
and more more can
To
be
store
because
to store process
Scalable.
like
Access anywhere.
yeah, it's accessibility can be done by using the remote login, and remote login can be created on centralized database also as well as in a distributed also. What things comes different in the cloud database? Basically, thing
sir,
is
high
that
performance.
okay, we can say that thing is that
To
basic
to store, process, and analyze big data.
thing is that when we have a multiple branches of any organization, okay, whether in a city, whether in a country, or in different country, then what they require? They basically require whole data so that they can access, they can store, they can manage, and they can process. Okay, that's the first thing. Now, second thing is that sometimes what happen? Suppose there are three companies. Okay, all three companies are basically providing IT services. Okay, to different clients. What happened? This company have turnover of 100 crore. This company have turnover of 70 crore, and this company have turnover of 10 crore. Now, this company can arrange all the hardware and software resources for himself. It is very easy because he has their financial assets. Again, for this company, there may be some circumstances that it can arrange for him or not. But for that company, can it is possible to arrange all the resources for himself? Not possible, right? Suppose they would like to work their project on Unix. Okay, so licensing of Unix is required here. Organization A can easily purchase. B also can be purchased. Suppose licensing of Unix is required 20 lakh. Okay, for for the users for a 1 year. Now they can also spend 20 lakh. Now, when comes in the terms of organization C, then it is very difficult to invest 20 lakh. Okay, so what happened? Cloud basically provide you the services in four parameter: software as a service. Okay, so what you can do for a specific time period, you can use a service of any applications from the cloud. Okay, and you can pay as per convenience. Suppose your project will be completed in 3 months. So for 3 months, you can take the subscription. So you did not you not need to pay 20 lakh. Just what will be the minimum licensing fee required? You need to pay as your work is completed. Your as your subscription is completed, it will be disconnected from you like that. And for OTT platform, Amazon Prime. Okay, everyone is using OTT platform. Hotstar also used by you. Now you can see that OTT platform is providing all entertainment services in 160 rupees per month. Someone is providing in 550 for the 12 month. So what is that? Basically, thing is that they are providing you software as a services. Okay. Uh, until unless you have your subscription, you can see movies, you can access any content as your success subscription expert. You will not be able to use the services. So same things also provided by the cloud, that you no need to purchase your specific high cost software. What you require, just go to the cloud, purchase it, use it. As your work complete, you can release that. Okay, like as a taxi you had. Suppose you travel, you are going to travel from any source to any destination. Then whether you will purchase car or you will hire a car, you will hire a car. Why? Because for a single day or for might be for 5 days you require. Then for 5 days, choose on rent, use, and then leave the thing. Same things, platform as a services. Platform, some platform like Android platform, like already I have given example of Unique also. Already AWS services also. Okay. So when we are talking about the platform, suppose we require a specific platform, Android platform, on which our project will be completed, or we will develop any project, but we did not have sufficient fund. So what we can do? We can purchase our required platform. Okay. And after completions or under terms conditions, what we have purchased, we can release. Same infrastructure as a services. Infrastructures as a services, you can see that lot of transmission towers is there. Okay, Reliance have their telecommunication network. Airtel also have.
Sir, no sound.
Now, now I'm audible to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Screen also visible to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in terms of that, what you will do? Just you are paying rent and you are using the services. Okay, so no need to prepare or no need to purchase your infrastructure. So cloud basically providing you these kinds of services. So cloud also can be used for the data storage. Cloud also can be used to purchase the platform as a services, infrastructure as a services, and software as a services. So four services that can be opt or that can be used under a cloud environment. There are number of platforms that we have available like AWS, Microsoft Azure, Phoenix Snap, ScienceSoft, and Google Cloud SQL. So these are the few popular platforms that are available under cloud cluster. Okay. Any query by anyone?
No, sir.
Next one is the object-oriented database. Object-oriented database basically these things comes in the industry because in earlier time what is the things we were using limited number of application, smart application, and we not was such kinds of tools like AI robotics tools, okay, auto checks, okay. But as the inventions of internet applications, some smart services has been added. So now it's very critical that how these kinds of data will be stored. So object-oriented database is basically is used to create and store data in object-oriented programming paradigm. What happened? Basically, every object-oriented programming use their specific methodology to store their data and to access their data. How they will store data? Basically, they store data by using their object. Okay. Now, how object work under this environment? Suppose I have a class. Okay. Basically, object-oriented database work on class and object terminology. Suppose here I have a class. Okay, and class here I have a class of shape. Okay, I have a class of shape. Now under this class there may be different objects like triangle. Triangle may have shape. It can have three edges. Square. It's also an object. After that, hexagon. It's also a shape. So you can see that under shape class, there are different kinds of objects who are representing a shape in different form. So object-oriented database basically reflects the real-time things, but they have different entity and every entity represent in instance form, and that instance basically known as object. Any change if you want to make in our class database, then we need to call our object. Okay. Hierarchical database, basically, this is also a database model, and in that type of database, basically the data will be stored in a form of tree, and there will be a root node, and under root node, these node will be known as child node. So root node may be referred as parent node, and their subnodes may be known as child node or left node or right node or subnode. Okay. So if we have any database, then that database will be organized in form of tree in real time. Now, what is DBMS? Can anyone tell me what is DBMS? Why we require DBMS?
To manage our database.
Okay, only to manage our database.
Data. For maintaining data.
For maintaining data. Okay. Basically,
So to perform operations on our data.
yes, the main thing is that because when we have data, when we have a large database, okay, and various concurrent users, multiple users are working on similar data. Basically, they are performing their real-time task. Okay. Multiple, someone is trying to perform read operation. Someone may be trying to perform write operation. Someone may be trying to update and in any information. Someone may be trying to transfer any data. Okay. Means copy of data. Okay. Or deletions of any irrelevant data. So at that time, we required a common system that can manage all the operations, whether any data creations, whether the data that you have stored earlier, or whether the data that you have created earlier, any update required into that data, or you require to creation of any data in real time, then under DBMS, we will perform all these tasks. Okay, so DBMS is important basically to maintain and manage the daily operation so that consistency of database should not be affected whether multiple users are performing their different operations. Okay, because there are many commercial applications and databases basically available at the time. It is very important that how we will manage that data. DBMS basically allow different roles to perform to users. Data definitions, under data definitions, creations will be there. Suppose you have to create a new database, then how you will create any modifications in the data and any field you want to add or update. Suppose in your database earlier there were four fields: serial number, name of student, age of student, but you want to add a new field that is email ID. So you can add, but firstly you need to change into their definitions. Okay. So DBMS under this section, you need to define their data definition. Second one is data update. Data update, that means data updation may be insertion of new data, any modification in all data or deletions, any data, suppose you have entered wrongly or you did not require or might be possible that data did not related to that particular table. So all data updations operations will be comes under the data updation. Data retrieval means searching any data from that database. And user administration. User administration means monitoring users because the main key role of database administrator is to check and to ensure that any unauthorized user cannot access that data. Also maintain the integrity of data. Also provide the security so that that data cannot be changed or cannot be remanipulated. Okay. And also concurrency control. Concurrency control, why? Because always we need to ensure that until unless a operation is not completed, another operation cannot be performed on similar data at same time. So we need to use the concurrency. It may be, we can use lock protocol also. Lock protocol means if write operation is going on, then read cannot be performed. If read is going on, then at that time write cannot be performed on similar data. Okay, so all these things will come under the user administration. Performance and recovery. Performance by suppose you are searching any data from your database, your data storage, from your data storage, and it's taking too much time. So at that time, it will take time to get the data. So in which amount of time you are getting a response, it is also a very crucial thing. Another thing is recovery. Suppose any exceptions conditions happened here and your data corrupted in case of any failure, in case of any technical issue, in case of any fire or burning issue, so that data can be recovered. So all these tasks will be comes under different sections, and all 4 sections I have explained in front of you. If you have any query, please tell me. Any query by anyone?
No, sir.
Now, things comes into the mind. Why we need a database management system? So already we have discussed in previous slides that database is required basically to create and manage data. And by the help of DBMS, we can perform the following things: each of accessing of data, storage and management of data. Why? Suppose we have that data storage, okay, and here DBA is there, that is known as database administrator. Okay, so he will use the DBMS software to check whether sufficient storage is available into my disk. Suppose you have a new project and you have to start work on that project, but into your DBMS storage is not available sufficiently. So what you will do? Firstly, you will increase your space or you will manage your space. Easy and efficient file management. How that data will be stored into that DBMS. He will ensure whether file system will be used there, whether block system will be used there, or which kinds of terminology you will use to store that data into database. Avoiding duplicates and redundancy. Duplicates. Suppose into your DBMS, similar data has been stored 2 times. So DBMS will ensure that duplicacy will not be there into the database. If any duplicacy or redundancy happen, then he will identify and will intimate to you that similar data already exists. This may be happen. Sometimes what happen in your computer, you create a file, and when you create the file, again you have created a file, but the name of previous file and new file is similar. So what happen when you will save that file? Your operating system will give instruct top up message that this file already exists. So what it means? That means you are creating similar data because he will recognize by their names, not the content that you have put under that file. So duplicate in means the name or file convention that are using, it should be different. And if you are using relation terminology, then the contents should not be repeated in the similar manner. Concurrent data access. Concurrent data access, many users can access that data in similar on the same time, or might be they are working on a similar project, so all they can work at same time on similar data. But the DBMS has to ensure that for which user right access has been given. Suppose this is user 1, this is user 2, this is user 3. All 3 users are working on similar data. One user have only write permission and 3 and 2 user only have read permission. So if they want to make any change, or they want to update in any data, then DBMS should ensure that no change can be made by these two users. Only user one can make change into that data. Okay. So concurrent data accessing policy will be defined by the DBMS. Database integrity. Integrity, the data that you are using, it should be in consistent manner, and the characteristics of data should not be changed. Okay, what schema you have defined, according to that schema, that data should be maintained and should be accessed in a user environment. Okay, so these are the basic 6 needed, that why we require DBMS. Any query by anyone?
No, sir.
Now, DBMS with file system, with file system. Basically, file system basically is a way to arranging the data. Okay, and basically file contains the data, and that storage that structure will be stored into the hard disk. Okay, file system basically use the directory, and under directory we create the subdirectory. We have two terminology that we use under the file system. It is NTFS and it is the EXT. NTFS is the new technology file system, and EXT extended file system. Under file system, what will be happen? A root directory will be there. Under root directory, all sub files will be created, like as we can say that in DOS environment. Okay, or in under Unix also we use directory structures. Okay, so file system is a basically way to arrange or store the data, and it's work under the directories and files. Basically, main files is known as the master file or master directory, and its sub files is known as user file. Is there a basic difference between the file system and DBMS? File system basically has a structure that will use to store the data files into the hard disk, while DBMS is a software that is used to manage the database. Data redundancy, basically in a file system, data repetition is allowed, because in a file, suppose you are creating your CV or you are preparing your CV, then you can you can add your name many times into your resume, or your skills many times in real resume, but in DBMS it did not allow that similar data cannot be entered for a similar operation. Backup and recovery, file system did not provide any recovery. You can see that in your system, suppose you have deleted your Excel file, your Word file, then you can not make any recovery of that. If yeah, it may be possible that you have deleted your file, that file basically moved to recycle bin. Now, if you want to retrieve from the recycle bin, suppose you have erased your data from the recycle bin, then it is very difficult to recover. Even that data can be recovered, but it's very difficult, and there is no traditional way. But DBMS allowed you, because DBMS have a specific features, and recovery also backup mechanism used to recover in terms of any failure or any events happens. Okay. Query processing. Basically, file system did not support any query processing or query mechanism, while DBMS basically work or perform the daily operations by using the query processing system. Consistency. We can say that data may be consist in file system. It may have consistency or not, but DBMS have more consistency. Why? Because DBMS use the normalization process. Normalization process basically it use the different 4 classes: 1F normalization, 2 second NF normalization, bytecode normalization. So basically this normalization process is used so that data redundancy and repetitions should not be there. Okay, so DBMS is more reliable in terms of consistency. Complexity. No complexion is there. A file structure is defined. Into that file, you can input your data and you can read your data. While under DBMS, it is very complex. Why? Because software is there and that software contains many modules. So it is very complex to handle that software. Okay. So you require special training, and after training of that, you can handle large amount of data. Security constraint. File system also did not provide any, we can say, heavy security mechanism like that. If you have your Word file, you can use password on your file, but there are various high-tech techniques by which you can retrieve the password or you can open that file. But DBMS provide the security mechanism because DBMS have different modules, different components that have the first core responsibility to secure the data so that unauthorized user cannot access that data. Cost. Costing in terms of file system, it not have too much expense. It's less expensive. While DBMS, because it's a software or it's a tool, so you need to make purchase the license as well as you also require a trained person. So in terms of DBMS, costing will be increased here. So these are the few basic difference between file system and DBMS system. So any query by anyone, please? Any query by anyone, please? DBMS architecture. Basically, database management system, which is software. Okay, so it's have the different structures and it works in, we can say that, different mode. So basic client server architecture is used in we can say that in distributed environment or when we have large number of users. Okay, so client server architecture will be there and many PC or many terminals can connected under that model. Okay, workstation can be connected here via network. So DBMS architecture can be defined into 3 layer or in 3 type. It's a first tier architecture, second tier architecture, and third tier architecture. So all 3 tier architectures have different kinds of advantage, different features in real times, and different technique they use to provide the service to users or to concurrent users in real time environment. So this is the session for today, and because DBS architecture is a topic, it's have 3 component. So we will discuss about this tomorrow with examples. So if you have any query, any question you have in your mind, you can ask me please, because session time is already over. Any query you have, please? Anyone? Any question by anyone? Okay, so not an issue. Thank you very much to join this session tomorrow. Yeah, Vishwajit, don't be too much fast. I will share you all the contents that we are releasing from here. So firstly, try to understand that what we are doing from here, what we are giving to you. If you require content, I have no problem. I can share you right now. Firstly, try to understand that what we are doing from here. Okay. Don't mind it. I will share you all links of the software also that you have to install into your system. But firstly, because this session we have arranged for you so that your basic things remind and it can be useful to you in the big data technology course. Okay. Okay, so thank you very much. We will meet tomorrow at the same time. If you have any query, we will meet tomorrow. Till then, bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.